team like Kyrie and KD. Or the Lake Show with King James and AD. Wish I could match him up with the bad boys from the 80s. But no black and white, I need that in HD. HenDawgz.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawgz, and we back to it. You know how we do it. Why is Larry Bird still so popular? That's the question for this video, man. So before we get into it, go ahead and answer that for me. Why do y'all think Larry Bird is so popular? And also, subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like this video. If y'all like this video, go ahead and write something in the comments and let me know, why is he so popular? And I'm gonna try to answer that. And I think it's because we've never seen anybody like him to this day. You know, you get all these legends that come up in the games and you appreciate them. I think over time you get to appreciate them even more when you slowly keep seeing all these different people come into the league, and there's still no one that comes close to these guys. So there still hasn't been a Magic Johnson, which LeBron, you can kind of say, been that player a little bit to kind of, you know, make people forget about Magic. But it ain't been no Larry Bird. It ain't been no 6'10" small forward out there that can just do everything. You know, he can shoot the ball, he can pass it, he can rebound, he can defend. He got toughness, like, it's just all that. He's winning championships. Like, there hasn't been a guy like that. So I get it. I get why Larry Bird is so popular. But let's get into this video. I don't want to do too much talking. I want to see why the person that made this video feel like Larry Bird is still so popular. And shout out to him being popular, because my Larry Bird video is too good too. So let's get into this video. We got, why is Larry Bird still so popular? Let's get it.
An absolutely breathtaking flying follow-up of his own missed 20-footer by who
with
else?
the left. Oh, that's my boy Sean David.
Hey guys, this is Dominic.
That's my boy Sean David.
Hey, this is HenDawgz.
What's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hello, good day everyone. Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name is Sean
What up,
David.
Basketball
Thanks
Time
for tuning
Machine?
in. Let's talk some old school NBA basketball.
Let's do it.
In today's episode, I want to talk to you guys about why Larry Bird is still so popular, even though he ended his career so many years ago. But before we dive into today's episode, let's take a quick look at the sponsor of today's video. Today's video is brought to you by Truebill. Truebill is an all-in-one.
Truebill not sponsoring us, so
if you use my.
Let's work, Truebill though. Shout out to the Bird Gang too. Part of the Bird Gang, write something in the comments.
So, it's kind of interesting to see why I came up with this topic for today's video. I think like 2 weeks ago, I uploaded a video which was called NBA Legends Explain Why Larry Bird Was So Good or Better Than Other Players. And the video had over 1.6 million views in less than 2 weeks. And that just shows how popular Larry Bird still is. And we have to remember that Larry retired, in 1992? So we're talking about 30 years ago. So I came up with a topic and I thought, okay, why is he still so popular? And I have several reasons that I want to talk to you guys about. Now, the first reason that I have in mind is how other NBA legends are still talking about Larry Bird. And I'm talking about the guys who actually played against him. If it is a Magic Johnson, if it is a Dr. J, if it is a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Isaiah be talking about him
they
too.
all say that he is one of the best, or maybe the best player they ever played against.
Who was the best player you played against?
Yeah. The best guy I played against might have been, Larry Bird. Something like that.
How good was
Michael
Bird?
Jordan.
People, I don't think people look at him and think, oh, he's a white guy, slow guy.
Chubby white guy, he wore us out.
He wasn't really chubby though.
This muscle here, the one between his ears, that was his best, because he made the 3-pointers and he had assists and rebounded, steals. He was always at the right place at the right time on the court. One of the great players I had the opportunity to play against.
Now when you have legends like that saying those incredible things of you, obviously for the younger generation who have never seen Larry Bird play, they have to believe that, okay, if those guys say that he's great, he must have been great. And rightfully so. For guys like me and most of you guys who watch Larry Bird play, I mean, we know that this guy was really, really a bad boy. But come back to the topic, why is he still so popular? It's not only that legends talk about Larry Bird in the highest regards, but it's also that he was able to do things that he probably never should have been able to. I mean, how can you be such a sensational player, win 3 MVPs straight in a row, if you're not fast, if you're not quick, if you can't jump high? Larry Bird basically defied the odds and basically was a very, very rare specimen. We're talking about guys like Michael Jordan, for example, who probably, in my opinion, was one of the best athletes who ever entered the NBA. He was able to do things that no other player was able to do. And
that's why I respect Larry Bird a lot too, because my basketball game, me personally, I rely a lot on my athleticism. Like, that's something that gets me by. I mean, my shooting is pretty good, but also my athleticism. So whenever I see a guy out there that's dominating, you know, he dominated for 10 plus years, and athleticism wasn't what he relied on, I appreciate it, because it's something that I wish I could have been able to do. Or, not I wish I could have been able to do, I take that back, but now that I'm getting a little bit older, I kind of have to, you know, rely on my intelligence and my toughness and, you know, just different things other than my athleticism. So somebody that, you know, made a living, became a Hall of Famer off non-athletic stuff, I appreciate it, man. So shout out to Larry Bird.
Larry Bird was basically in the same kind of category, not from an athletic standpoint, but being able to do things that he never should have been able to do. If it is being able to shoot over everybody, doing those crazy step backs, having even some moves that were super athletic, even though he was not athletic. It's just mind-boggling how this.
It's not that he wasn't athletic. Like, I don't want people to sit here and just think like just some bum off the street was more athletic than Larry Bird. Like, I don't agree with that. It was just he wasn't one of the most athletic players in the league. Like, he wasn't close to had the athleticism that Dr. J had, that Larry Bird, that Michael Jordan had, that Isaiah Thomas had, that all these other players had. Larry Bird didn't have that much athleticism, but he was athletic. Like, you would be crazy to sit here and say that Larry Bird wasn't athletic.
This guy was able to be so dominant without lacking so many attributes. Then another reason that I really believe is a major point why Larry Bird was, or still is, so popular is his trash talking. Yeah. I mean,
most definitely.
In today's NBA, where you basically get suspended for a couple of games if you only look the wrong way at a certain player, Larry Bird was a guy who could take a player out of his game by trash talking. Mm-hmm. And some of the things that he has done are so unbelievably great. I mean, telling a guy what he's going to do, like, oh, I'm going to shoot the ball.
A psychic trash talking.
I'm going to run around the screen. I'm going to take the ball there. I'm going to shoot it in your face, and it's going to only be 1 second left on the shot clock. Saying those things and actually being able to back those things up. I mean, who does that in the modern day NBA? And even back then, when we still had so many great trash talkers, there weren't many guys who were doing something like that. Right. And Larry Bird did it.
And I agree 100%. And I feel like after just kind of thinking about why I feel like Larry Bird is so popular, the trash talking is number one. That's number one on my list. Why to this day Larry Bird is still so popular. Because all of the different videos that I react to, that's something that everybody talk about. Dr. Jaden talked about it. Michael Jordan talked about it. Kevin McHale, like all these different players that when they talk about Larry Bird, they talk about his trash talking. They talk about how he used to just literally go up to a player that's guarding, but hey, why do they got you on me? Like, you're just disrespectful. Like, I'm about to go to the hole, I'm going to pump fake you twice, spin, and shoot off the backboard, and I'm going to leave y'all with 3 seconds left to do what y'all got to do. And then we'll go do it. Like, that's amazing. That's crazy. I can't imagine me being one of those players that's guarding Larry Bird and he'd do that to me. Like, I would never forget that guy because of that. So, trash talking is why Larry Bird is still so popular, for sure.
Countless times. If you go on YouTube and check how many players can actually attest to that and have their own Larry Bird moment where they say, okay, he did that to me. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of stories.
Yeah, no, facts.
So hundreds of stories, Larry Bird saying what he's going to do and actually backing it up just shows what an incredible player he was.
But when you
how
played against
confident
somebody,
he was.
do you remember? Well, you had the bird night.
I had the bird night.
They call it the bird night. The 60-point game
That
was
was
the
a
bird
tough
night.
night, man. You know, the biggest argument that night is, well, you only scored 6 on me. You know?
But nobody was guarding Bird, were they?
Well, we were trying.
You were trying to.
No, but when a guy is
He gave
literally
6
coming
players
up the
10
court,
points.
calling his shots, and, you know, Bird talked a lot of trash.
And that's in New Orleans.
That's in New Orleans. In that game, we're on the free throw line, and he's like, he literally says, left side over across the 3.
Crazy.
And you're listening to him. That's a tough feeling.
Then there's another thing that we have to talk about, and this is something which is a kind of a sensitive topic, but I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. Now, back in the 1980s, the NBA was a little bit more, or the world in general was a little bit more racist as it is today. And back in the days, there were some players who said, oh, Larry Bird is only getting this reputation and this hype because he's a white player. And they used to say that until they played against Larry Bird. If it was Dennis Rodman, who I had on my show, who said that Larry Bird was one of the best players he ever played against, but obviously he had this interview where he said Larry Bird was only hyped that much because he was a white player. Cedric Maxwell, who was a teammate of Larry Bird, who openly said that he believed that Larry Bird was overhyped until Larry Bird actually became a Celtic and whooped Cedric Maxwell's ass. So hearing from so many black guys who changed their mind about Larry Bird, to me that's great, because that shows that those players can give credit where credit is due, but it also does a lot to the legacy of Larry Bird. But that's just a tiny point. I mean, there's some other players in the same kind of category of Larry Bird in terms of being a legend even many years later. If you check on YouTube for Pistol Pete Maravich, for example, the guy has been out of the NBA for I don't know how many years, 40-something years, and the guy unfortunately died so many years ago. But he also has millions of views on YouTube. Why? Because his legacy and his legend lives on. And there are just not that many players who have that legacy. I mean, Michael Jordan obviously is probably the most searched NBA player on YouTube of all time, even more than LeBron James and those guys. But obviously, MJ being the GOAT, it's natural that many guys are searching him up on YouTube, especially with the younger generation. They want to know what we old school fans are talking about. But Larry Bird, to me, when it comes to a player from the 1980s, Larry Bird, in my opinion, is the most popular player of the 1980s when we talk about a player that has a legacy which is still going on even until today.
Glenn Auerbach called this the greatest play I've ever seen.
I want the ball because I'm supposed to produce in situations. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But I want the ball in a situation.
Shout out to the Basketball Time Machine for another great video. Yeah, Larry Bird, the more I watch Larry Bird, the more I respect him. Not only because he's from the Midwest, that has a lot to do with it. Just that rugged mindset where I don't really care about the glamour. I just want to play basketball and I want to play at a high level. Like, I can't do nothing but respect that. And I became a very big fan from Larry Bird from just watching these YouTube videos. So I appreciate y'all for watching this video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. I got a lot more Larry Bird videos coming soon. Go ahead and like this video if you liked it. And go ahead and write in the comments why you think Larry Bird is still so popular to this day. But I appreciate y'all like always.